I was watching a reading and it got me thinking about karmic energies and how they have played a role in counterparts' evolution. And there was a huge distinction I've noticed that happens in a lot of karmic connections, where, especially for the divine counterparts, every karmic I've ever had has threatened to yeet themselves off this planet if I've left. And I heard this is a common thing from talking to people in, especially, divine feminines, divine masculines in karmic connections. Their karmics will threaten to yeet themselves off the planet. And so, especially if they're being faced with leaving. So that's been a huge distinction that I've noticed. Now, don't get me wrong, when I've gone through major transformational shifts in my counterpart dynamic, I legit felt like I was unaliving. And I remember my friends asking me one time, they're like, how are you feeling? And I'm like, I literally feel like I'm dying. I feel like I'm dying. And it took me a while to realize, well, why do I feel like I'm unaliving, And it's because at a soul frequency, energetically, I am. I'm transitioning from this old frequency into a new frequency. And at a soul level, it feels like unaliving. But when it comes to karmic energies, they use this tactic for power and control dynamics, because that they didn't yeet themselves off the planet. Years later, they're still alive. So it's where is this coming from? Why do karmics do this? Why do karmics threaten to yeet themselves off the planet when a divine counterpart decides to leave to better their frequency? So I've also noticed that when a divine counterpart decides to go back to a karmic or back to engage with a karmic, their life ends up in chaos, because karmics bring chaos energy. And I'm not to say that, people are bad people or anything like that, or, so everyone's, above everyone. It's the role we're playing in each other's lives, right? It's the role that we choose. And sometimes these karmic energies are people that we have karmic debt with, people that we have to release this karmic debt with. And so it can feel like a trap because of the karma that is playing out and the debt that needs to be paid back to the soul. Now, that's not to say that karmics don't have the choice to choose how they play out that debt. They do. And if they choose it in a, very toxic way, it can be damaging to the soul. In a very bad way, it can be very damaging to the soul. And then there will be another loop around, but that's a whole different subject. And I just saw a raven. Oh my God. It's flying so low. What the heck? That is so cool.